Before we announce who the Bears just signed in NFL free agency, well, this is a perfect reason to subscribe because regardless of what news or rumors are out there, we're going to cover them all. The latest buzz around the Chicago Bears, the latest news, free agency, draft, which is just around exactly a week today, actually, trade buzz, whatever's going on around this team, I'm going to break it down on this channel, youtube.com/BearsNow. So please subscribe, and let's get into the news of the day around the Chicago Bears. We have some breaking news here on Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham, as the Bears have signed two players, yes, two in free agency, and this is video number 2 on the day. David Moore and Greg Stroman Jr. to one-year contracts. The Bears announced it themselves just a few minutes ago. Welcome to Chicago, and then, of course, their Twitter handles there as well. So David Moore on a one-year deal. Greg Stroman, we talk about Moore just for a sec, with a little over 1,000 yards in his career, 13 touchdowns. You might remember him from his time in Seattle. I'll be honest, I don't remember hardly at all Greg Stroman. I was like, Greg Stroman, and then I looked up his career. I was like, oh, okay, journeyman, special teams guy, can have some kick return value. We'll kind of dive deeper into each of these players here in just a moment. But first, what's your initial reaction? What is your one-word reaction to these signings for the Chicago Bears? Let us know down in the comment section. As soon as you saw this news, you were like, what did you say? That would be your one-word reaction. My one-word reaction is depth. You have a 90-man roster in the offseason, right? I don't view David Moore or Greg Stroman as, major candidates or major impact guys for this roster. But, hey, they're camp bodies. You let them compete. We know Matt Eberflus and Ryan Poles are preaching compete and competitiveness and new culture and all this stuff. These guys can come in there. They can do that. So my one word, depth or competition. Let's start with David Moore. We'll talk about him a little bit. I think he's the more known player, especially from his time in Seattle. There was a time there for a while. I was like, could this guy be like a legit number 3 receiver for that Seahawks offense? And briefly, he kind of was. You look at his career numbers here, 78 catches, over 1,100 yards, 13 touchdowns. So, I mean, that's not nothing for a guy that entered the league in 2017. Most of his damage done with Seattle from 2018 to 2020, spent 2021 both with Denver and Green Bay, but only played in 3 total games. You kind of look at this depth chart now. You add David Moore to it. Maybe he competes with an Isaiah Coulter or something like that, Nasimba Webster for a depth roster spot. Obviously, we all expect the Bears to add some wide receiver help in the NFL draft, but David Moore at a time showed some upside. I mean, in 2018 and 2019, he averaged over 17 yards per catch that year. So he's had some big play upside in his career. Can he give you some help on special teams? Those type of things. When you sign these depth type of pieces, certainly help go a long way in giving yourself a chance to make the 53-man roster or even the practice squad. We'll talk more about these signings in a moment, but I did just tease the draft. And if you guys want to join us for all 7 rounds of our draft coverage, if you don't, I don't know what you're doing because we have better analysis. We get the picks out quicker than ESPN, NFL Network, and all those networks. And we have fun as well. We're drinking beers while we're doing it all. April 28th through 30th, all 7 rounds live on Chat Sports, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We will break down every single pick, including the Chicago Bears picks. And let's be honest, we'll be live here on Bears Now some as well. But go subscribe to Chat Sports and go support us over there. All right, we'll talk about Greg Stroman a little bit here, 6 foot, 182. My guy Tom Downey wrote a couple of notes here. Career journeyman, 7th-round pick out of Virginia Tech in 2018 with the Washington football team. You take a look at some career numbers here. 38 tackles, 4 pass breakups, 1 INT, 1 forced fumble. He's played in 20 career games. In 2018, the year he was drafted, he played in 15 games and started 3. That was the year he had an interception. But since then, he's played in 5 total games, did not play in a game at all this past year. Decent speed coming out, 4.48, but doesn't have great quickness and doesn't have great size either. You look at the cornerback depth chart for Chicago. Okay, more depth guys, right? You know, you got a lot of depth guys. The Bears actually do. I mean, I think guys like Kendall Vilder, Thomas Graham, Duke Shelley, those are good depth players. Maybe Graham emerges as a starter. I have him penciled in as CB2 right now, but we've talked pretty consistently that you need to either draft or sign another corner to help out Jalen Johnson and Tavon Young. Greg Stroman's not that. He's not a guy that's going to come in here and start at CB2 and, you know, be the answer or something like that. But, again, and I get messages all the time. I guarantee you I have 5, 10 DMs right now like, who are these guys? Just another garbage signing by polls. Guys, you have to fill out a 90-man roster. The Bears, before these moves, had 61 players on their 90-man roster. 6 draft picks ain't getting you to 90. Sure, you'll bring in, you know, 12, 15, maybe even 20 undrafted free agents, and you'll probably sign some other higher-level free agents after the NFL draft, but you still got 27 roster spots to fill, man. Like, that was not going to happen with just the draft and UDFA. So you bring in guys like this. They're cheap. They don't cost anything. And they help you fill out bodies at training camp. Now, name another player that the Bears should go out and sign during NFL free agency, maybe a more, you know, higher level type of guy, like an Eric Fisher perhaps, or another receiver like a Jarvis Landry, or maybe even, you know, a T.Y. Hilton or a Will Fuller, someone that people have a little bit more knowledge on. Let us know in the comments who you think the Bears should go out and sign in free agency. Well, today, the players they signed in free agency are David Moore, the wide receiver, spent most of his time in Seattle, and Greg Stroman Jr., the cornerback, more of a specialist, special teams guy. He can give you some return ability as well. So the 2 latest signings for the Chicago Bears. Again, if you just want a quick little reminder here, David Moore, career numbers, 78 grabs on 136 targets, 13 career touchdowns, which that's actually, like I said, a pretty notable number. Greg Stroman, pretty much all his stats were from 2018, so he's certainly the less notable guy of the 2 players, having just 38 tackles, 4 pass breakups, and 1 career interception. So there you have it, the news of the day. Here's the deal. Small news, big news, we cover it here on the channel. That's what we do. We are your home for the Chicago Bears on YouTube. That's what we're all about, the latest news and rumors around this football team. That's why we ask you guys, encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/BearsNow. The more subscribers we get, the more videos we'll do. We're already doing 2 videos per day a lot of the time. If you want that to continue, please support what we're doing. All right, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll have another video tomorrow, another video on Saturday. We'll continue to bring you guys the latest around the Bears. I'm Harrison Graham signing off. We'll see you soon here on Bears Now.